Okay, today we're going to be looking at how Mrs. Margrave marks up a passage and makes a really good grade on her district assessment. First thing I do is I look at the whole passage. I look and I circle, excerpt, underline from, this is a one-act play I've never heard of before. I need to know this word cinema. So I will probably look that up and find a synonym for cinema. Cinema limbo. I do know the word limbo. Limbo means that things are changing, so I can put a synonym there. Cinema has to do something with plays or movies. So a movie and change. There's a setting here and a list of characters. But right now, am I going to read this? No, I am going to preview the rest of this test. I continue looking. Oh, this is not a very long passage. That's good. That might be something that I want to save for my last thing to do because I'll be tired and that would help me have something quick to do. I'm also going to look and see how many questions I have here. I have 1, 2, 3. None of these talk about paragraphs or lines. I will continue and look. Oh, wow, there's only 3 questions for that first passage. I look and see what the second passage is. It's called The Wizard of Oz, and it is an excerpt. An excerpt is just a part from the original book. I'm noticing there are numbers. When I see numbers, that makes me think they're numbering the paragraphs for a reason, and that reason is probably that there will be questions that pertain to certain paragraphs. There's another page of this, and then I do see there's a third page of this. 27 paragraphs or lines. I look and I see something here. Oh, it's a book cover. It is a book cover. It says The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, and it has this lion with a bow and glasses. I think that's kind of unusual, so I circle those things. And I notice that it has a note. Background was light green with red lettering. The lion was red, placed on a dark green background. Guess I'm going to need to know something about that, so it's good to notice it. I look on the next page. Note. This is a movie poster. It says it was printed in bold, vibrant, multicolors. Even if I don't know bold and vibrant, I know multi means many colors. Bold means it's going to be bright. So this means it'll be very, very colorful. I'm suspecting that they're going to ask me something about comparing these two things. They don't normally put two things side by side unless they want them compared. I look and I see questions for this passage. Number 4. Number 5. Oh, number 5, I see this standing out to me. It says in paragraph 11. Right now, turn to your paragraph 11. And I'm going to have you write the number 5. I'm going to circle it. Circle 11 here and put number 5. That tells me, that is a foreshadowing that there is going to be a question here, so I need to slow down. Back to the questions. Number 6 says this is going to be paragraph 12. So I'm sure you can predict what I'm going to do. I'm going to go back to paragraph 12. I'm going to circle it, and I'm going to add the number 6. Number 7, I don't see anything like a paragraph number, so I'm going to move on. This one I do. Number 8 is in paragraph 24, just toward the last of the passage. 24, and that was which number? Number 8. So I write it. It's just like in the mountains when you are coming upon a curve. You need to know ahead of time that curve is there. That's what this is doing for me. Number 9, I don't see any numbers, so I'm going to move on. Now, so far I know I have a short play, a medium-length passage. That's an excerpt from a book. Now I have number 10, best is really important for summary. On these type of questions, you need to make sure that the beginning, middle, and end are being covered. Beginning, middle, end. As I read these, I'm going to ask myself, is this sentence at the beginning? If it is, I'll put a tally mark. If it's not, I'll already tell myself if it jumps straight into the middle, that's probably not a good choice. I do this on each one. B, M, E. Beginning, middle, end. Beginning, middle, end. Which of the following is the resolution? I know resolution is the ending, so I'll pay attention to that when I get there. This word right here on number 12, not. Not is always very important. We'll talk about marking questions in a moment. I know here, looks like I've got a writing about the excerpt. Looks like this one is talking about illustrators of the book jacket and the movie poster. Oh, okay, I was right. This down here is going to be your think spot, your note-taking spot. We'll talk about that in a minute. Moving on, this test is still being previewed. I see this is called Myths and Legends. I'm familiar with those. It looks like they talk about legends in this paragraph, myths in this paragraph, and both. They're comparing. And I see that there's a Venn diagram. These are things in common. 15 tells me I'm looking for the best thing to complete section 2. Section 2, I go back and circle, is right here. That's my focus. Which term belongs in section 1? So I will have to look at section 1. What else is in this? Oh, let's see. Here's another writing. This writing is about the Wizard of Oz and comparing it to a myth. I'll need to think about that when I'm reading. Does it have the qualities? And what I think would probably be an excellent thing to do is when I get ready to do this test, I'm going to read the myth first, and then I'm going to read Wizard of Oz second. I'm going to pause for a second and ask you, why would I do that? Why would I read the myth first and then the Wizard of Oz second? In order to be a good essay answer writer here. You're right. I have to know what a myth is. I have to know what its attributes are. I have to know what conditions a work has to be having to be a myth. So I need to know that, number 1, and then I can apply it to the story, number 2. Also, I have some readers' responses in a journal, and there are errors. So I'm going to be looking for the errors. Sentence 3 is question 19. So I write that down. On the back, always look on the back. Sentence 6, incorrect means not correct. And then I have another sentence 6. So 20 and 21. So question number 21, 20 and 21, excuse me. So this is pretty important sentence. Now I know what's on the whole thing. If I'm a beast at grammar, I will go ahead and knock out the grammar first. You do not have to answer in order. If I don't like grammar, I might get it over just like you eat your broccoli first if you don't like it. But I am going to start, when I read passages, I'm going to start with, and it told me in the answer choices, questions and answers, that Myths and Legends is expository. I can look at it, and that would be one of my first things to do, is take a look at it and see, do I think it's a story? Do I think it's a myth? I think it's expository. Expository is going to tell me what? Lots and lots of factual info. Now we have previewed and it'll be time to begin, and that will be another video. Okay, today is going to be part 2 of annotating star test like a rock star. And yesterday, our last segment, we talked about where we would start this test. You do not have to do these tests in order. I also like to bubble at the end, and so that's what I'm going to ask you to do. Of course, the day of the test, I'm not going to be able to tell you that. That's going to be your personal choice, but I think it's beneficial to wait till the end to bubble. We're going to start off first. I made a conscious choice in part 1 of the video that I'm going to start with myths and legends because of the essay question that goes with asking whether or not the excerpt from the Wizard of Oz is a myth. So as I go, I'm going to change colors. So I know that the green was what I did ahead of time, and now I'm going to actively engage with the text. I start reading here. No, I first see what question goes with this. I have 15 and 16. And then 17, I'm going to have to save until I get to the Wizard of Oz. I only have to concentrate on these two. I'm going to read first the question. Which term best completes section 2 of the Venn diagram? Is it symbolism, modern, survival, or gods and goddesses? I'm reading it ahead of time, so I have my roadmap. 16, which term belongs in section 1 of the Venn diagram? Lesson about good character. Is that a term, I ask myself? Fictional story, I ask myself. I thought they told me it was expository, so I would be kind of surprised if that was the answer. Is the term American Indian culture, or is the term explanation of a phenomenon? Do I know what a phenomenon is? I personally do. If you don't, you would be getting a dictionary and you would be putting a synonym out here. A phenomenon is an event that is noteworthy and I need a little bit more. I'm going to ask somebody to look that up for me. So we'll pause for that. Okay, that was a good definition. Now let's move on. As I read, I underline, I circle, I can even highlight. I'm not a big highlighter. I don't think that coloring is highlighting. Highlighting is supposed to make it pop at you. Myths and legends are an important part of the heritage of every culture. While entertaining for the listener or reader, these stories also serve an important role in passing down valued aspects of culture. Oh, I did see the word entertaining. It wasn't talking about this, it's talking about myths and legends are entertaining. They have a purpose, an important role, and this important role is passing down valued aspects of the culture. Over here to the side, I am going to write the word purpose. That is what the main idea. This paragraph is about the purpose of myths and legends. Legends are normally based on truth, but may be exaggerated over time as they are passed from person to person. These particular stories normally demonstrate a great deal of symbolism for the culture. The basis of truth, often from historical fact, becomes fanciful through exaggerated actions of heroes or from settings in mystical places. These tales often explain how spiritual beliefs of the culture began. These stories are narrative in nature. Okay, so I have a couple of things here. Symbolism stood out to me. Narrative stood out to me. And beliefs stood out to me. I write these to the side because when I get ready to test, those are going to pop out at me. Myths, on the other hand,